Kerry Eleveld is a journalist and former White House correspondent. Kerry, joining me now from California to discuss the developments in Orlando. First, I want to get your thoughts on the U.S. president's comments today. This is a man that you covered quite a bit. Your thoughts about his speech. Did he hit all the right tones?
Well, yeah, I mean, what a terrible job. Unfortunately, the president, as you guys have noted, has done this 10 times. He's crisscrossed the country. He's been to, Orlando today, but Colorado and California and Connecticut and South Carolina and Oregon, and I don't want to leave anybody out. But he's had to make this speech a number of times. I think what was important about what he did today was that he was specifically included the LGBT community, the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community, and said, if ever there was a moment for us to stop and think about how we treat others and the fact that everybody counts and everybody is deserving of dignity, that this is that moment. And I think that was important for gays and lesbians, transgender people across the country to hear that today. There's a lot of people who have not wanted to talk about the fact that this was an attack specifically on gay Americans, on transgender Americans, and a place where, they meet to find safe haven and enjoy each other's company and sort of let loose. And it was important that President Obama did that today, and he did do it.
And Kerry, let me just go down that road with you. I lifted a few sentences, and I want to get your thoughts on them. Because it hits on the theme you're talking about. He said these families could be our families. In fact, they are. What does that mean for the community?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's so important. This is a community that, first of all, the president, I think, takes great pride in the fact that he's going to leave a very incredible and aggressive, legacy behind on. The LGBT community has made so many strides during his presidency, and so for him to find common cause and to say, this is our family too, and we need to protect them, we need to be with them, it's all of us, we're all Americans. It's just so important for the community to hear at a time like this. It was just a year ago at this time that the LGBT community was this month getting ready to celebrate and did celebrate the arrival of same-sex marriage legalized across the country, where people could finally, solemnize their unions and legally here in the country. And so to have something like this on this particular month, June Pride Month, is just such a terrible setback in many ways, it's just gut-wrenching, really, for the community. I mean, I know I've had a number of tears this week, and I know a number of people have too, and it's gut-wrenching for Orlando in particular too, and the Latino community. I mean, this was specifically an attack on a nightclub that was having a Latino night. And you watch the faces pass across your screen. These are kids. They're 20 years old. So many of them in their 20s, some in their 30s. It's just too young. I think I'm rambling a bit, but it's just the nature of being a little bit overwhelmed by what's happened this week.
Well, Kerry, we're looking at these images, and they just jump out at you. You're right. Everybody basically starting their lives and so young, all of them snuffed out at a very young age. Talk to me about the community there in Berkeley, the LGBT community. Has this brought people together? Has it shaken them? Has it done both? Talk to me about the range of emotions that everyone's going through.
Well, I think that it has done a number of things. I was at a Oakland A's baseball game the other day. They had a moment of silence, a specific dedication to the folks in Orlando. And I know people are, it's a time that we struggle. We come together. The LGBT community has been oppressed and derided and demonized, frankly, by a lot of people for a long time. And this is a moment when you think, all of those things that people say, they amount to something, they mean something, and eventually they come to fruition in something just as horrible and unimaginable as you can think of. And that you never really wanted to think of, frankly. And so, this is a time, I think, when people really have come together. I know I've seen it in Berkeley. I've seen it I've read about it in other communities across the country. The vigils that have been held, the fact that there were hundreds of people at the blood donor, to give blood following this horrific event. It's a time to find community in each other. And I will say one thing that's very specific about LGBT folks. We are in every race, in every religion, in every ethnicity, in every socioeconomic level. All are our brothers and sisters. So in that sense, this feels like an attack on every one of us.
Kerry, we don't have a lot of time, but I do want to get your thoughts on one of the other themes that he hit on, which is the difficulty of talking to these family members and then pleading with him. Can the government do something about this? Do you think the government is going to step up this time around and actually take action?
Well, unfortunately, there's going to be votes on Monday. There's going to be 4 votes on gun measures on Monday in the Congress, in Senate. And I don't think those votes are going to go anywhere. But I will say this. Look, one of the things that changed hearts and minds across the country about LGBT rights is knowing LGBT Americans. And unfortunately, I think we're going to get to a point in this country where so many people know someone who's been affected by gun violence that they reach a similar sense of urgency on the issue of gun safety, and that we will eventually get, assault weapon bans passed, as well as universal background checks passed. That is going to happen. It's only a matter of time because we have so much gun violence in this country.